Sakurai has some news. We have a Jinx update and Dizzy gameplay is right around the corner. Guys, welcome to Double Tap. This is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. I'm, of course, your host, or one of your hosts here. I'm Crash, and I've got my other two hosts here in the building for another week's episode of Got Static and Meza in the building. What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, what's up? I'm here. No,
look, I love how he pointed at me first. He pointed. He was like, "Yo, you go," and then he was like, "I'm gonna talk."
Psych. That's the mix-up. That's the host mix-up.
Okay,
in the beginning.
you. It's all right. We're fighting for second place. It's cool.
Don't worry. Wait until Guilty Gear comes out.
It is
there
out.
You go.
Oh,
it is. It is.
Lucy's out. Wait until Lucy's out.
I forgot.
There's gonna be like an anime and also like a show, and a game already.
Yeah, there's gonna be so many sweaty people coming into the game just to play Lucy.
Cannot wait.
I hope she has small boobs.
But wow. Well, Arxis, do me right, Arxis. Anyway, welcome, guys. Of course, like I said earlier, this is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community, and we've got plenty to talk about. We're gonna pump the brakes there real fast on the Guilty Gear talk. We'll get to that, but before we get to all our other topics here, make sure to follow us if you haven't already at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms, as well as check us out on your favorite podcast platform of choice for a new episode every week. We're back at it. We took a little bit of hiatus, but we've been back at it, and we've got plenty of things to get into. So let's get started. Sakurai Smash. It's been a while since we've covered anything really Smash related. Technically this is not Smash related, but it's Sakurai in itself. Has had a YouTube channel or YouTube series that he's been covering a lot of updates and things that around the project, around Smash, and sometimes about just himself. Made a very interesting call to action recently, where confirming his final video on Creating Games is releasing October 22nd. That is tomorrow. This is actually being recorded for at least 2/3 of the hosts here, being recorded on the 21st of October. And it's going to be going on at 8 o'clock Japan time, which is about 7 in the morning for you all in the East Coast. So if you want to wake up for breakfast and potentially some Smash Bros, it's going to be the spot to check out. And yeah, this has brought up some possible speculating.
Do we like honestly believe this? Because like, I gotta be honest, he's done this before where he said, "Well, guys, I've done Ultimate." What he said, Smash, was it Smash 4?
Well, he's talking about Smash
or Ultimate.
Yeah.
He said one of those was his last one.
He's talking about the games, but now he's like randomly him coming out and going like, "Listen, I'm just killing the YouTube. Like this will be his last YouTube episode." But it's just strange because it's 40 fucking minutes. Like that's a long show. Like that is nothing. Like my notes on it when I heard that, I'm like, oh, it might be like a crazy introspective episode with maybe an announcement about him. Maybe he's done with Nintendo. Maybe he's opening a who knows, right? This is speculating on that side, but you can't ignore the fact that it's at a weird freaking time for this to come up. I mean, 40 minutes is a long time, but I'm saying a weird time in terms of the events because, hey, you can suck down all the hopium you want on a Switch 2 announcement, but that is on the horizon for sure. Like it hasn't really been a big secret.
They can't really do anything until after the PS5 Pro, right? So, I mean, that's just being realistic because if they try to drop it around the same time. And plus, Xbox is supposed to be still working on that handheld or whatever.
Bro,
I'm only speculating because the Switch is also supposed to be isn't it supposed to be coming out with like it's like pretty much the Switch, like the other version of it, where it's supposed to be a little bit bigger screen, a little bit more powerful. But I mean, it's not the Switch 2.
We don't know. I don't know 100%. I don't know if if the tech of it has been leaked as well. But regardless, the biggest thing that the Switch 2 is going to do is going to be able to play Switch 1 games, right? Which is why things like Nintendo recently, which some people are speculating, that their moves on, emulation and all, they're shutting down modders or shutting down these third-party manufacturers, which, I mean, it's still Nintendo's MO, right? Like, these guys have a tracker on anybody that decides to sell anything Game Genie related, as far back as that probably. They have a list for sure. But, I just found it really interesting that, hey, we're still waiting on a Nintendo Direct to go down, right? We're waiting for Nintendo Direct, and now Sakurai's also calling out like, hey, it's a call to action. Also telling people they should watch it live. You should watch it live. I'm like, that's just a weird
I don't think
call to action in my sense. I think so, because I mean, if all they want is the publicity out, it's like, okay, cool. You're gonna see mad videos, you're gonna see the VOD, you're gonna see people posting it, but it's like, hey, someone's literally telling you, you're gonna want to be there.
Maybe it's because it's his last like hurrah, right? The last time we really see him.
True.
But at the same time, it's kind of like when we saw DOA after DOA, I think it was 4 or DOA 5, and we were at the live event it was one of the NECs, and they were just like, yeah, he's done, right? I think it was Tom or Tommy, something like that. I can't remember.
5 or 6.
I think it was 5.
It was 6.
Like 5. Was it 6?
If you're talking about the latest one, it would have to be 6.
So
yeah, it was 6.
But they came out with another one.
It was the NEC, and they were like, this is the like end. Like, I think it was an announcement for 6, but they also did an announcement, like a trailer for the player that passed, Ninja, I think. Ninja.
Not Ninja, but it was
from Detroit, I believe.
It was definitely 5 last round.
CJ Killer?
Maybe. But my thing is this. I just see this as like maybe the first 20 minutes is going to be like going over the history of Sakurai, right? Where they kind of give like almost like this, like you said,
a retrospective of some kind
of his life, right? And him, because remember, this guy has burnt himself out, nearly almost killed himself. Making
multiple times
this game, like making these
multiple
games.
times.
Yeah. So I don't think it's bad for him to do this, but I also think he might be like showing off, like he might say be there so that you could see who I pass the torch to next, because maybe that's a really big thing compared to just hearing about it. You would want to be like, oh shit, or he might be asking questions.
Granted, I also don't foresee, I'll be clear, I don't foresee like a Smash announcement happening. That's something you see at a Nintendo Direct, E3, whatever.
I mean, it is his game, though. He can do whatever he wants.
But it is his baby, though, right? Yeah, it is his baby. But at the end of the day, he has to go by whatever Nintendo overlords have to say there. But yeah, it's still crazy. So I kind of like all eyes on him right there in making that announcement, and that it's going on. Like I said, by the time you guys hear this episode, it should already be out, if not probably the night of. But yeah, it's just still, man, like 40 minutes, be there. You're not gonna want to miss it. These strange, it's a little bit, it's definitely conspiracy theory, like put aluminum, my aluminum foil hat on, be like, oh, this is connected to this, and this. So, what does this mean? It could just be mean, hey, yo, it's been fun. Enjoy the YouTubes. It's going to be archived. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, here's if I may, with my take on it.
The hottest
so
takes?
For Smash, it's not even hot. For Smash, it's already been a celebration of games and or fighting games. And a lot of the DLC has been just celebration of games that he's played, from Final Fantasy, from... what else he put in there? Tekken, KOF, Fatal Fury
Quest
series, Dragon Quest series, and answering people's requests from Minecraft to and not just that, but putting stuff in the games as if people had played them, so it's not too out of the ordinary for them. Honestly, I feel like Terry this is the hot take. Terry was a better character translated into Smash than he was into Street Fighter. Just my hot take. I don't feel like he's very Terry in Street Fighter. He's very Terry in Smash. Well, I mean, I still have a power down I can do, okay? Anyway.
Smash is Smash, man. They did everything right, I think, at one point. But go on.
My prediction now is going to be that there is going to be maybe some sort of collection for Smash. A Smash collection. Or even something that has to do with Smash 64. Because Smash 64 isn't even on newer consoles. None of the Smashes are. But I mean, Smash, what is it? The DS and or Wii U one, and that's Smash 4, right? No, Smash 3.
3DS, Brawl.
No, Brawl is 3, Smash 4, or SM4SH as some of the community calls it. And those two are more accessible as the latest ones. But maybe something more of 64. I mean, 64 is aged quite well, where people have emulated the hell out of it on these things. But then again, they've also done like online Smash stuff, and there's a lot of emulations that
like
I know Nintendo's
Project
like, we don't like that. But
Project Slippy and all that. Yeah.
What if he's just doing what Ono did, bro, and he's just leaving and going to another company?
That could be the case, but
that-
it could
that's
be
also
40
the
minutes
case.
long. It being 40 minutes long, I mean, he's
That's a
definitely.
lot.
This is like you said, a call to action. Like, hey, I know a lot of people aren't watching my stuff, but
You're not gonna want to
come on back. Yeah, come back for just for
Yeah.
this one time. And it's like, damn,
for the
the
one time.
creator of Kirby? I don't know.
Right.
I'll go over there.
Yep. So it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna hopefully see, talking about that collection, that actually would be a really
Dope idea.
if he were to bow out, right, in a perfect scenario, if the situation was he's bowing out, he's like, I'm done, cool, it's been great, had a long run, I'm gonna go retire or work somewhere else or start a studio, and maybe he will consult still on Smash in the future, who knows. It's not unusual for these directors, designers to be doing that. They expand their careers. It is a career at the end of the day. And he's got plenty of time in Nintendo, so I'm sure he's gonna be taken care of. That if he does bow out, he does do an announcement, like a celebration of like, hey, this is my legacy, for
Magnum
everyone to be able to,
opus.
for my magnum opus. And then strings come up everywhere, and then the collection pops out. But it's to kind of give new generations a chance to try Smash 64 and all the other variations, and God forbid Melee, and in another realm, right?
He's been known in Smash. I mean, he's answered everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, yeah.
So that's what this is kind of smelling like. But regardless, it's just speculation.
Yeah.
This is all tinfoil hats. But we would love to see what's going on there. And we would love to actually know what you guys think. Like I said, copium, whatever you're sucking on the side. Do you think there will be a Smash announcement soon? That's going to be our poll for this week, guys. We're going to be posting that up on our Discord as well as on our social medias as well as on YouTube. Make sure to go vote. Let us know what you're thinking. Yay, nay, nah, or like he gone. I'm going to put those as the options for you guys. We'll find out, sure enough, when this episode releases on the 22nd. In the meantime, though, guys, we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Singapore CPT event, the Capcom Pro Tour Super Premiere event that went down over the weekend. And it was fuego. It was straight fire. We're going to have to check that out, check out the results and what we liked and what is to come for the Capcom Pro Tour moving forward. But don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. All right, so we're just kind of glued on our seats until we hear what Sakurai has in store for us. In the meantime, though, we got to see some Street Fighter this weekend. I don't know how much you guys got to check out. I think you and me, Static, we were definitely watching some. Did you get a chance to peep any of the matches?
Yeah, I did. I watched mostly top 96. So
Nice.
That was pretty interesting. I didn't expect some of the matches to go the way they did, just because everybody was playing so many different things from like which are no longer playing Chun-Li, which I was kind of sad about. I mean, it's just kind of the way the game works now. You kind of got to play the character.
You gotta have a second with you at the very minimum. We got to see Zen go mix between DJ and Bison throughout the tournament, which was good. Plenty of Akumas to watch. What Chris Hall was nasty. Kawano, Kakaru.
And first Daigo was really interesting because you'd think he'd go like Luke or something.
But there were a lot of great matches. This was a Super Premiere event, so this is one of two Super Premiere events in Capcom Pro Tour. The other one actually being the Japan Super Premiere that is going to be, I think that's the one that's next. Yeah, that's actually the next one that's going to be going on in November. Right, damn. So put it in perspective here. Participants for Singapore still don't want to lack 385. That is a concentrated 385 of pure Street Fighter talent right there in that pool. East Coast Throwdown 621. Japan, which the region that has the most killers, most amount of top 500s in the world on the leaderboards, and are kind of just not dominating, but they're killers, right? 1,229 entrances.
Jeez. Now, ECT had
that's a lot of
1,200
matches.
something, but that was unique entrance to the different game.
Yeah, that's unique entrances over. I think it was like 14 and some change
Something
total.
like that. It was in the 1,000.
But this is double that.
Yeah,
This is double.
So They need to stop putting these at crazy times. No, I'm kidding.
They do.
For
Nah,
you,
man,
I'm sure you're great. Yeah.
It was a time zone thing. Yeah, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like. I unfortunately did have to kind of go back and kind of rewatch something because I just was asleep or I had something to do beforehand.
It was like starting at midnight, and I'm like, cool, I can stream a little bit of it, and then at midnight started the countdown. I'm like, so the countdown starts. Then the first match doesn't start until about 15 minutes in, and I'm like, my eyes. So I did catch Gachikun versus Zen, who when I woke up, I was glad to find that losers finals was Zen.
Yeah,
and then I saw more, and I'm like, oh snap! I was looking at the top, like I was really studying the top. There, what is it, 16? And I'm like,
top 16, yeah.
Holy crap, Nephew's here! Like, Nephew is in there.
Nephew,
so already
the grind, dude.
Yeah, already I had like favorites out of like Chris Wong, who was second place last year CPT. Gachikun already, who's like unstoppable, but then he lost to Zen, so I'm like, okay, Zen, you have a great chance. So it was weird going to sleep with the first match of top 16, waking up and thinking like Ending Walker or somebody will be there, but no. I mean, are you talking spoilers? Go ahead, you're good.
Oh no, go for it. I mean, at this point right now, this is your spoiler warning. If you did not check out the results, this is your 3-second warning. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna talk about who won what.
I checked out how long the video was, and I'm like, 7 hours. Damn, I've been asleep about 7 hours. And I'm like, all right. I didn't see, like, the thing is, my notifications were like, congrats to. I'm like, no. So that
I was like turning a blind eye every time I would see it on my feed. I'm like, nope, scrolling.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have to catch up on. I really want to watch the matches.
I saw it was like Nephew, and I'm like, oh, okay, Nephew got to losers final. All right, let me watch loser final. Catch up. God damn, Nephew has been, I think, the most improved from like the previous game. Like he's almost like Idom in Marvel 3. When you see Idom in Marvel 3, you're like, this guy just might beat anyone.
He really studies the game.
Yeah,
like he is a student through and through.
And then you see how Nephew just does, and it's like
he had the most. Yeah, but playing the game like it was his goddamn job.
Right.
That's what he was doing.
And the thing is, I remember seeing him at one of the Red Bull events here in Philly, and I was just playing casuals with him, and he's just like a regular Colleen player, never stopped playing Colleen at that time, and just like kept it going. And then he moved in with SSK Samurai and Punk, I think it was, and just kept grinding from there.
Kept leveling up, dude. His gameplay was insane. He had, I think, the most nail biter comebacks like in top 8. Like he had more than one situation where burnt out, maybe he had meter, but like burnt out, like has a sliver of life. Like this really should be going to the other guy, to his opponent. And he's like, no. And I'm like, surely they're not gonna guess. Oh my God, they guessed strong twice. They just died.
Like gameplay wise, he's the most optimal that I've seen. He challenges everything. So like, and it's not even bad challenges. Like, he maybe get a counter hit here or there, but his challenges are like unstoppable.
Dude,
the driver stoppage is crazy.
Oh, his instant air medium punch to dive kick like option. Like he picks them very well. Like he picks it very well.
It must be that
in great situations.
It's got to be that he's thinking now grab is coming. So instead of teching, just jump medium.
Yeah, because you get way more. You get way more than that. You get more damage put out, and you get the Oki afterwards if you have it low enough.
Sorry.
Wait. Would you say he kind of has that old school like Street Fighter 4 Daigo style where he was just like always had the read, always challenged certain situations, partially because of knowledge and partially because like it's just a feeling?
I don't know if it's the same, but it's just like he's well adapted to this system and how Street Fighter 6 is. Like in terms of getting reads, I think Ending Walker still kind of does a really good job. Like he does his patented, Ending Walker DP like call out. Like he did it like confirm, and I don't even know if it was possible to confirm it that quickly into level 3 to win matches. Like he made that happen. Like it's his thing still. Nephew, like I said, I think he just shines in the system and how it's working. He just has adapted it so well that it's just second nature to him.
Ending Walker has this ability to make these pro players look stupid. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Like they're not stupid, but damn, he makes it look super easy.
I think the only thing is I wonder how he's going to shape up, because we saw the same kind of the same concept when Knuckle Dew first kind of came in. He was just kind of like really adapting to a different playstyle than Dominion did. And we're seeing that kind of with Ending Walker, just in general overall, right? He's not playing like every other top player, but I also think that he's also, because he's young, just like how when Knuckle Dew was young, they take more risks. They are willing to get in the fray. But I wonder, because we saw as Knuckle Dew got older, he became more tame, not as wild, but very
became
refined.
a family man.
He became refined.
You know, it happens.
Right? But
he
I'm
still won
curious
a
if
Capcom Cup, so I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying, but he became refined, right?
Yeah.
To where we saw him evolve as a player. I wonder if Ending Walker is going to hit that point sooner, because he's way more integrated and he's getting the advice and help from other top players in his vicinity a lot more than I would feel Knuckle Dew.
It's definitely a possibility, but you know, at this point right now, you know, just let it rock. Ed is good. Flicker is an insane special to have on any character. Like, just abuse it, my boy.
Before announcing who beat Nephew in Grand, I want to touch back on Ending Walker. It's like getting third at Evo. I think Evo was his wake up call, because prior to that, I mean, beating Valmaster with those crazy EXDPs on wake up.
Yeah,
disgusting in 5 when he was like 14 years old or something, and then going from winner's side at Evo, getting destroyed, and then running it back to get third on that same player. I forget who beat him so badly in winners.
Big Bird.
It's Big Bird, right? And then beating Big Bird in loser quarters. Or was it? Or is it? No. Big Bird made it to Grand.
Yeah, he lost.
But getting back to
he beat
Big Bird.
So you're thinking.
Right, and then losing to Big Bird 3-2.
Yeah,
way better.
Almost taking it. Yeah, way better than the 3-0.
No, 3-1.
3-1. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was 3-0. I felt like 3-0 maybe.
I'm just saying
makes
because
it feel like that.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is that the first match was so nerve-wracking for him that he looked more comfortable throughout the losers bracket. And like, within time, that kid is just going to soar. I mean, he's already top 8, still no slouch. And being fourth place
absolutely.
at Evo with the Death Stare in the background.
For sure.
Am I spazzing? Was it second or was it fourth or third? It was probably third.
For what? For Evo?
Yeah.
He got third.
Yeah, it was third. Okay.
Yeah, so, he got third at Evo, right behind Big Bird, but above Momochi.
Yeah. So like, what I'm trying to say is, with no slouch, scariest player might be the top contender for LCQ. Unless you have, again, Japan, 1,200 entrants. I mean, that's no slouch either. So they're coming.
I'm sure he's in there. I'm sure he's in there. As a matter of fact, I'm looking right now, and he's in there. He's in there with his other, French and European representative with Problem X, with Broski, Mr. Crimson. They're all slated. Doesn't mean they might show up. Like, for an example, there were 2 other Americans that were slated for Singapore that did not actually end up showing up, which was Lex and Noah. They obviously were not there. I mean, Noah had already been. I mean, I don't know if there was anything else for Noah to do. He's already qualified as well.
He did?
I believe he did. Did he not?
No, he qualified for What was the thing?
I'm talking. Yes, my bad. I'm crossing the wires.
When he jumped around in the high socks.
I'm crossing the streams here. My bad.
Can we just state that Punk's already qualified, so he doesn't have to show up to shit? I actually think it's funny.
He's the Evo champ.
Yeah.
They get a pass.
He gets the rock, but I think it's funny because he's like watching. Okay, I would say it's interesting when you don't have to show up to not one damn tournament. You can hide all your tech, all your information about yourself, play with very specific people, and then watch how everyone plays. So you get to just study for the year.
Well, Mena went to First Attack instead of going to ECT last weekend.
Yep. Smart.
So
and took First Attack.
Took First Attack. I mean, and Kaba unfortunately didn't win over here in ECT, but still, Mena's just rocking Zangief wherever he goes. Who knows? He could be working on tech behind everybody.
Well, he's been playing it in Street Fighter League, so that's also another spot where he can train it up.
Because they're probably pre-recorded, I believe.
They are pre-recorded. They are pre-recorded.
So finally, Shudo. He actually ended up winning with Akuma. Hot diggity dog.
Akuma.
This dude's confirmed.
Damage, son.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like at first I was like, yeah, it's his MO. Like, no problem. People are just gonna adjust to it. No. can't adjust my fucking health bar when it melts like that. God damn, dude. Like standing light is such a good fucking button. It pokes so well. Like his ability to convert, and just also his just air movement is funny because Nephew wasn't the only one, because Nephew was doing some really cool situations with his dive kick where he was switching up his timing to get people's muscle memory to anti-air at certain times, to be like, oh, you're jumping, I'm gonna anti-air you, and do a very late dive kick to give you like a kind of like almost like give you a buffer in between and actually be active afterwards and punish. Shudo was doing the same thing with Demon Flip in so many weird situations. I was like, that is fucking gross, dude. It is gross. And like I said, you throw the damage to boot, like that's it.
Honestly, I think he probably had to play one of the hardest people to play in the game in grand finals, it being Nephew, who's like kind of, you're getting support from Punk saying like Nephew's like leveling up so fast and saying like he should win this tournament, and he was playing like he could win the tournament pretty convincingly. But I mean, it's interesting because those two characters are so different dynamics. So Akuma being like this like heavy hitter with no life, and Juri being kind of like this really fast paced, like rush you down. You would think that Nephew, on the route that he was going, he would probably have a better chance of winning because he's played a lot of Akumas. He's like through that path. That's really all there was.
He was close. He was close to resetting. It was close to reset. It was a 3-2 at the end of the day for Shudo taking it. But I mean, at the same time, you know, don't get me wrong. Nephew's like, yo, he'll take the dub if he could, right? He's still playing his heart out. But regardless of the outcome, even though Shudo did end up taking that, they both ended up qualifying. Super Premiers do allow the top two players actually to qualify. So regardless of with Nephew losing the grand finals, think of that as more of the battle. He still has a chance at the war that is Capcom Cup 11 that's going on. So at this point, he's going to be joining the likes of Punk, of course, Mena RD, Kusanagi, Itabashi Zangief that just got his spot as well from ECT, and now Shudo and Nephew are joining that list. So we have 6 qualified players for Capcom Cup 11.
Very dynamic. It's very different and dynamic because we're used to having like very specific names up there. Like you usually hear Daigo, you hear Tokido, Mochi, but I think we're getting a lot of different new names. I mean, the name that I thought we would see is Kakeru. No longer.
I mean, it's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, that's. But I think that's a good
it's still
thing
not
about
over,
the
but yeah.
but I still think that's a great thing about the game is like anyone's able to win at that high level, so you're always going to get these phenomenal matches now.
Yeah, for sure. So what we got left now, like I said, Japan Super Premiere is going to be happening on the 3rd of November. That is going to be, once again, 2 more spots. It's the only other Super Premiere event for the calendar year. So there's going to be 2 more players that are coming out of there. We still have Blink Respawn as well as Kings of the World, which I believe that one is I'm trying to remember what region that is for. That's over in London. So it's another EU event. And then we have a bunch of World Warrior events, a bunch of the online events to get through, which that'll also be for, that have been getting through, but you know, you have to accumulate points for that one, right? But yeah, that's it. When it comes to Capcom Pro Tour, once again, Singapore, it was an insane set of matches. I was super stoked to sit down and actually get to watch it live, but also check out some of those matches on some of the VOD streams online as well.
Slight
in the meantime,
deviation. I just want to say Xian is still one of my
new
favorites.
Challenger.
No, Xian is still one of my favorites to like.
Oh, Xian was still great to watch.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, he's
give him
his
Gen.
DJ was solid.
No, do not give him Gen again.
No,
see what I did there?
Not here. Not in this game. Hell no.
Good,
all right, so with that, guys, we're gonna be jumping into our next topic, which is, you know, we're in Arcane season right now. For those that don't know a little show named Arcane, this, by the way, this is not biased in any way, shape, or form for anyone who is affiliated with anything Riot Games here in this show. Arcane's a pretty dope show. All around the League of Legends IP. It won a bunch of awards. It's a great animation. Just on a technical aspect, if you want to look at, you know, really good animation, really good writing, that is a show to check out. Season 2 is also happening in November. And with that, of course, you know, for those that do know, 2XKO, League of Legends fighters, basically. Jinx, we've got an update to Jinx, who's been miraculously just absent from the beta testing earlier this year, or really any news whatsoever. For those that I think you got to check her, did you get to check her out at Evo, right? Like in that build very early on. I think she was there. I could be incorrect.
Don't think she was at the first Evo build. I don't think she's ever been playable. I just remember.
No, she was. She was, I think, on a I think that was at the League of Legends Worlds test.
Oh,
area.
okay,
I think
okay.
that's where she was playable.
Okay.
But then
So
they took her right out.
Yeah, I think she was playable in some public form or another, and they kind of they addressed it. Riot Games addressed it early on, like, hey, she looks a little unfinished. There was no facial animations and such. But we've gotten a quick update. It went live a couple of days ago, actually, and it was just, hey, showing off an intro, showing off her looks, showing off her kind of redesign. And as they said, they're kind of getting the arcane train rolling, so we can expect to get some news, hopefully, for 2XKO, maybe some additional announcements. Maybe we still don't know all the characters, even though we do have like characters like Katarina very early on in announcements that we know it should be a character in some degree. We don't know yet, but with Arcane around the corner, they've already been announced that they're in full Arcane mode. So with Jinx being there, I'm not surprised if we do get some 2XKO news soon. So keep an eye out on that. And in the meantime, though, another character that we're definitely keeping an eye out for, which is also going to be happening this week in true Double Tap fashion, is happening right after our latest episode. Dizzy. 1 out of 3 of the hosts here are really, really ready to jump on that train. And then 2 out of the 3 are really, really worried about playing against her. But Dizzy, we're supposed to be getting some Dizzy gameplay. Arc System Works is at the Paris Game Week this week. And we did cover it last week where they went to Twitter and asked like, hey, what question, we're going to have an AMA, ask us anything. And we assumed, there's like no way, right? Like she's coming out this month. She's coming out 31st. In like, the 31st, like 9 days, 8 days or 10 days, excuse me. And we have not seen anything outside of her intro. Like we need to get this marketing machine going, man. Cause I'd honestly had forgotten if I didn't see that post. But sure enough, they're gonna say they're gonna reveal some gameplay. So in the meantime, we're gonna sit down here with someone who has mained her in the past, and we're gonna talk our wants and our can'ts for this character in Strive, because there are some things that of course make a character, right? That should be there. If you have a Baiken, she should have a mat. If you have Eno, there needs to be a projectile, right? Or a stroke to the big tree. Whether or not it's good, that's another conversation. But for Dizzy, there's a lot of things that she has, but there's a lot of things that I'm like would be that you just can't have. Let's go off with the should haves.
Okay.
Or I would say one thing that Dizzy should have, which would be interesting to do here, is she should have a double jump.
Yeah.
Or a double dash, air dash. Because she did that in the past, right? She was able to jump in like air dash, like double jump and air dash, or double air dash. She had an extra
action. I don't know, more or less.
Extra action, air action. Thank you. Exactly. I think it still translates well here.
Okay, so I think it's perfectly fine as long as they. And I hate what I'm about to say, but it's gonna have to be noted. It can't be overly fast. As much as I think that's the best thing for her, she cannot get free access to air movement that's really, really easy and fast, just because of the way Guilty Gear is kind of played. It's a lot slower than like Xrd, a lot slower than Plus R, or tons slower than Plus R.
The air dashing in general as well.
So I definitely think that's understandable, and I'll tie something in with the air dashing later. But I actually don't care for her normals. Whatever they want to give her. As long as her dust still needs to knock down and give her set play. I think that's really important. Unless they're gonna give her something else that's a hard knockdown to set play.
Talking about the tail pull,
maybe
the sweep, the tail pull, the ground shake.
Well, it depends which one, because in Xrd she had the axe, and I believe in Plus R
and Reload, there was the one would pull the tail and the demon would smack the ground. And it would knock down. Like, that's what you mean. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like, I kind of want to see where they go with it, because it seems like she's not using just like the devil and the angel in her arms and stuff like that. She has a little bit more of a balanced form. So from what they're showing, at least what we've seen in the trailer, she doesn't have these two things on her side to tell her what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, may I throw my theories and theses? Correct me if I'm wrong. In Xrd, she had 2 separate spikes she could do. One was Demon Spike, one was the Ice Spike, correct?
Yes.
So she wasn't like a side character. She wasn't like Gil, correct? Like
No, because Ice Spike, anything ice would be slash related, and anything fire was heavy slash.
Ah, that's the one. Okay, so
Correct.
I predict maybe they'll put her like Gil, and she'll be a 2D, 3D, what is it, character that has like different sides to which side you're
So
on.
kind of potentially advantage or differences on one side versus the other. That's complex to
That
add.
would be
It
complex.
is, but Asuka.
But here's the thing. The thing is, she's supposed to be like the ultimate form of Disney, right? So that means she's complete. She doesn't have either or being different, technically.
Is she?
That's
Is
what
that
I would
this
imagine.
Described? Now, I would imagine that she's more
You're saying
suppressed
she's
because
the queen?
well, I would say she's more suppressed because 1, she's in control. 2, she is married now. She has to, cover up. But then 3,
She's been
she's like,
covered up since
I
Red
gotta.
Dog.
Yeah, but 3, she's been covered up since Guilty Gear. She had the nun outfit with just the shoulders exposed.
but that was
And
just
then
the nun
she
outfit on
transformed.
the intro. Then she transformed. But in Rev, she was actually just wearing that normally.
So what I'm trying to say is that she's more reserved, but then it's like, hey, bitches, like here I go, do. Remember, I can still do magnetic shockwave.
It kind of
I can still destroy you, but go on.
It kind of sucks that you say that, because the one thing I've thought about for quite a bit, and I hope they don't do it, is because, like you said, she's kind of like controlled and suppressed. Is that she has to do an install, do her other stuff, and I really don't want her to be an install character.
I feel, I don't know if they're gonna do install, but she might have to be like a resource, like a stack character, a stock character. Of
See, I'm not a fan of that at all.
Me neither.
I'm not the biggest fan either, but I mean, like they went to like the 11th degree with Asuka on that, right? Like you said, Asuka's complicated, and yeah, Asuka is complicated because there's so many cards you have to fucking remember. But like, it's the community. We're gonna figure out like if someone does the work. Shout out to Xando. Like shout out if someone does the work, it will be solved. There will be an equation done for it. Yeah. I don't see them doing that for her at the same time because they have a character already that does that. You don't want the same kind of archetype like on both, just because it's like it looks different doesn't mean like, oh no, this is just a stock character or a resource character, a shuffling character. But the left right, I think I'm still like, even though I said that was kind of advanced, like I'm a little bit sold on it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, how do you bring that in? I mean, they could easily still keep it where slash, yes, anything slash related is ice, anything heavy slash related is going to be the fire element, and you keep it as that. But that means they gotta tone it down somewhere else, because she had summons. She had the command grab. She had the mobility. She had set play. She had take throw game. She had like a lot.
Reload. I remember quite well. She's got the arrows that go towards you. Not arrows, but like the swords.
Got the beam and everything as well.
You got the fish that can chomp, or beam that go down, or beam that go up. I know Reload. Meza, you might know more about plus R, where she would put stuff on the screen that would activate at different times, like the DP. I think it's reverse DP. When force breaks, and you talk about bubble earlier.
Yeah, she had bubble.
Oh god, we didn't even talk about bubble.
She had, it started out as just light, which is like kind of the spinning dagger to catch people wake up jumping and stuff like that. Mostly I use this to get fruit, which is the main dagger. If not that, you were using obviously my talking buddies, which is the chompers that like kind of would do different actions based off of what you used. Punch,
the follow up button and
slash,
such.
Slash, sorry, or kick. So like, there's a lot of things that I think that they could give her, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, well, do I want to play the same character, or do I want something new and inventive? And I actually thought about it. I would like her to probably play weirdly kind of like Ordered Soul, where it's more like slow installs that she gets, like as she builds up, she can kind of get to this set play where I'm not just giving it for free. Maybe that's my personal opinion, because I do want to play a creative character. That's why I was playing Zato to begin with. So I'm hoping that she has that kind of like creativity that they want to bring to her, instead of just being like, you're a set play, you just do this, you can't use any other moves because this is the best route, right? So
is there anyone that like needs stacks
in the game currently?
In the game.
No.
like stack. Like I know I said stock character, but that's like the resource stock, like Asuka, Happy Chaos.
Are you ready for the answer? Zappa. Zappa was the guy you're describing, Meza. It's
we're talking about currently.
Yeah. Well, I know, but Zappa is the current playstyle you're talking about. Like doing certain things to get to a certain amount and then activating the god.
I mean, which makes sense, right? Like, because we're talking about, aside from just lore stuff, we're just talking about making a creative character. Like, yeah, there's things I do think should come back. I do think a form of the dagger should come back, right? I think a form of her the buddies and the chompers, maybe something new other than chompers, because it's supposed to probably be a little bit more sophisticated. But I don't think a lot of the excerpt stuff I want to see come back. I kind of didn't like a lot of it, and I think a lot of it was kind of bland. So compared to Plus R, but I'm a Plus R player.
When she came out in that game, it felt a lot more fan service than it does here. I mean, here, there was a request for these characters. Well, at least for Venom and Dizzy.
Venom and Dizzy definitely fan service, dog. The amount of times outside of the characters we already have in here, they were up in the top of the list.
But like Dizzy came out before. What was the 2 characters? Was it Baiken and Answer?
Baiken and Answer were the last ones. Yeah.
And then it was Dizzy before that when they announced Dizzy alongside the cat in Blaze Blue, Jubei. All right.
I also think they should bring back I use this to fish, which is basically her eye shard, because she's had it in both games. I'm curious what they want to do with that, if they want to make it a little bit more just different.
Does it take a hit? Is it the same? Right?
Maybe it stays out as a blockade instead, or something like that. So like I said, I just want them to be creative with her moveset. But if we're talking about, which we're going to talk about, which is what she shouldn't have. I know people would probably hate me for saying this, but I really don't want her to have Bubble this time around. I think Bubble was kind of a big fixation.
Can you explain first of all what Bubble did?
Go ahead.
Okay. So
because there were 2.
There were 2.
Yes, there are 2. So her base Bubble, basically, she could hit it to activate it, and it would put you in block stun. But it also tracks to a certain degree based off of which one she uses.
Okay, sorry. Yes, you have to use 25% meter to activate that one that homes in on you.
Yeah, if you use that one, then it always tracks you. You're good luck playing the game. But it did suffice as a heavy block stun mix Oki situation, and she also got air dashing off of it because she would do it airborne, which made it scary. So you had to guess every time.
Imagine a knockdown to a Tiger Knee Bubble that, and then it's like, what's going to happen?
If you still have 50 tension, she's going to do the command grab on you on the ground. Yeah. The command grab super.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of flexibility. I feel like she had a lot of flexibility, but it was also like, well, why would I use any of the other moves? It's like, no, those moves are to just get you to the meter that you need to be able to use that. So, I kind of want to see her game plan not be so, I wouldn't say it's boring structured, but a little bit more freeform.
I mean, it's set play. She had a love. Yeah, hold the fuck up. Who is this person I'm talking to?
Wait.
The guy that dies for set play is saying I don't want her to set play.
I want her to set play. I just want her to kind of have a creative way of set playing where she can use all her options instead of like, I'm only going to probably use that one option, right? Because like that's how I felt at one point playing Plus R. I was like, why in the hell wouldn't I just use Chompers or Bubble, right? It's like Chompers to get to the Bubble I want, and then I'm mixing you hard, right? I don't really have to use all those other things unless you're starting to make, like, we're playing probably at the highest level and you're making proper, types of guesses on when you're going to jump out and how you're going to, false,
Well,
hard. So
I just want to add a final thought. I would hope that they do make her complex, only because that the when I look at Elfelt, she's not very complex for a DLC character. And something that I've noticed from the DLC that I've mentioned a lot before was that each of them had their own sort of archetypes as well as they came out. However, when I look at like Testament has had so many changes since the start. First they say Testament sucks, but then Testament's good, and Testament kept getting buffed, and now Testament can teleport to the heart, and the heart stays on the screen, and then you can still throw the crow to the heart. Why?
The power creep is getting crazy.
But then Elphelt is still kind of ass, and
Yes.
it's like
I can say that for sure.
Favorite.
Hey, we all can't be superstars.
I
but
play her.
then-
She's bad.
But then even Johnny is Johnny was good, and then they still buffed Johnny with more of the dashing stuff. Like he can jump out of his dash, which I feel like was a big buff. So like there's characters like that they did change. I mean, Gold Lewis got some huge buffs, but he was already really good. So like then I look at some of the characters that just didn't do well. But I mean, I look at Slayer and oh my god. But
Simple,
so it's like why was there a decision on certain DLCs? So I would hope that she's a bit more complex, and then, but then if they make her too complex, then they're gonna make her easier, like they did.
No.
don't
You're
know.
saying the right thing, because when Johnny came out, people were expecting complexity. We were expecting Johnny to be one of the hardest characters to play, and he wasn't.
Yes.
And that was a big,
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Compared to old Johnny, nowhere close to complexity.
Listen, no, wait,
but that's
wait.
what people
Compared
were
to old
expecting.
Guilty Gear, this game ain't hard at all. I mean,
I'm
Johnny
not
had a
gonna
half
disagree
circle. Hold
with
on. Johnny had a half circle an air half circle input that you had to like also RC like right on. It was more than Tiger Knee though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying that was the
It
basis
was like
of it,
a grab tech, which also you had to like. I don't even know like the amount of craziness you had to get like air confirms off of wall bounces like. Shit.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like he's not as complex.
But he's still complex because you still have to hold Mistfinder. But you're not. But it's also not like Omito level, because Omito had to do the mist in order to like get you unblockable Mistfinders in Exerd. So Exerd, he's the only Johnny we're seeing. Like ain't nobody else picking Johnny.
I would say Zato is still almost equivalent to how, I'm not gonna say he's more difficult now, but he still has some of the complexities that he had before. But you know, they didn't
juggle a lot.
They didn't destroy it completely. They made him a little bit easier. But
Listen,
I don't know. Is
At
Zato even a character
At
right
this
now?
point,
I don't think
only
Zato even
infiltration
exists.
is
not,
Zato,
but
and that's a
he's not,
non-issue right
but
now.
he's, you know.
Or Latif.
But I'm just saying, like,
yeah, but even Jonathan Tenney dropped him. Like, come on.
but I'm just saying, like, he's not, maybe he's not as good, but he still has a little bit of those complexities that he had before. A little bit easier. But I'm saying
No.
Johnny didn't. And I feel Dizzy should have complexity. She should be hard to make work.
But the game doesn't complement. That's the hardest thing. They've added so much to the game. You have to have the game complement the characters that are coming into the game. The game actually complements Slayer's playstyle very good now because of the deflect shield and the wild assaults. They actually help a lot into him. So now you have to have these DLC characters actually work with these extra skill sets. It's really hard to put that in there. And then Johnny got that with it, and like Johnny's really good, but then you also have to like do the extra charges with the Mystifier. You can't just pick up Johnny. It's not like
I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying he's a little bit easier.
I'm just saying.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to pick up Dizzy when we find out what the hell her game plan is gonna be when it comes out tomorrow, or by the time this episode comes out.
It's just let me press / / / / / and it does everything for me. Where's my modern mode Guilty Gear? That's all I'm asking.
My extra final
Go back
thought,
to
buff
Persona 4
HCL.
Dark.
We're good.
Wow.
Until he will tweet, Static will tweet this every time a new patch comes out. Just get ready for that on Twitter as soon as the notes
What
drop.
if they actually buff it? What are you gonna do?
It's too late.
You should put a like buff HCL like day whatever of whatever, right? Like just do it daily until they actually answer you, like son.
No, because then all of
this.
Twitter's gonna be like, "Why would you want to buff HCL? It's just not good." And
Well,
I'm like, "Oh
clearly-
my god,
clearly-
have you not
clearly
seen
there's a
people walk
reason.
under it?" Jesus Christmas!
They're gonna have Harada come out and tell you no for them.
No.
I yelled so loud at the lab when somebody like air dashed into me with a big old H from Slayer, and it just didn't hit. And I'm like, you should have traded. Like
All right, guys. Well, that's our thoughts on Dizzy and some extra Guilty Gear Strive. We'll be right back after this break because we got, we've got. Yes, Winston Funny, I got you. We'll be back after this break to talk some ranking system Reddit thread that we checked out. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're back, and the salt is still fresh for Static.
I'm just saying, she's gonna be able to taunt and walk and dash under it. I just know it.
Yeah,
Like,
can't
God
wait.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Will you go back to Eno then?
What? No, this is not gonna give her neutral ever. It never will. It won't happen.
All right, so we'll see what goes on, what's going to happen with Strive later. But in the meantime, let's jump into this. So we came across, or at least I came across, actually, no, excuse me, let me roll this back even more. Polls, meant to bring this up. We had a discussion on the last episode about first twos, first threes, because of ECT, right? ECT had caused a little bit of a hindrance in people's brackets, and got the discussion about first twos, first threes, especially with some of the pros, especially some of the ones we just talked about of the Singapore event not making it out of pools, and the discussion about first to threes being a thing. We wanted to ask you guys, our awesome listeners, should first to three be more widely adopted earlier in brackets? We took to Twitter, we took to Discord, YouTube, all over the place, Spotify, all that good stuff. We got some results in, so our answers were yes, no, and depends on the game. And with a good solid 59%. Depends on the game. Yep. I mean, it makes sense. We did discuss this. Like, certain games play at certain speeds that is a factor. Your Marvels, Tekken plays 2 out of 3, but they do 3 rounds, right? It's a little bit separated there. Long. You can kind of then a little long on in the tooth there, but there is a reason for that. For one, it's what the community has deemed what works.
Carry over either, so.
Yeah, exactly. On top of that, it is like a neutral, a fresh neutral every time. Unlike and then Marvel, you run that 3 out of 5, man. It's 6 characters on the screen, but it's so fast.
6 characters is so high.
Yeah, basically. So like, depending on the game, it makes sense. It's actually not really outside of the realm of what I was expecting to hear once we put up the option. It is pretty subjective, but it'll evolve. The meta will evolve, and as a community, we should also evolve with it and double check what our standards are to kind of keep that consistency going.
There is one option that you missed out on. It's if you can't win a first to 2 as a professional player, stop being a little bitch. All right, grow up.
Noah,
learn how to accept the fact that you are trash in consistency with first to 2s. All right, you better come with all the gimmicks. I learned from Dragon Ball Fighters. Hey, you have to have something in your back.
Wasn't that 3 out of 5?
Depend on the tournament.
Thank God you didn't say sparking.
Come on. If we're talking about Power Rangers, yeah, that's 3 out of 5, right? But I'm saying, like, in general, like, you are playing probably Grand Blue is 2 out of 3. That should tell you something. That game's way more freaking toxic than Street Fighter. So, pro players, stop bitching.
The game is slower. But sure.
It's slower, but it's way more toxic if you get touched. It's way scarier getting touched in that game. Plus, 6XL, bro. It's still a problem. You can't say it's not. It's in the worst.
It did get adjusted, but it's not safe.
No. Some of the characters, it didn't really matter. They still can do it, and then you still have to respect it. So
at least Seox is not that hard to. I mean, he's hard to learn, hard to master. Siegfried is just.
Go talk to Tenured. He's not hard to master. That guy picked him in 2 seconds. All I'm saying is, professional players, I'll be a little bitch. Learn how to first to 2. And when you get to your top 96 or top whatever, then you can play your first to 3s. All right, be happy then.
I'm gonna say here, I would think we should have a discussion of games that got away, because Grand Blue is definitely one of them for me.
Really?
Yeah. Persona 4.
In the first to 2, first to 3s?
Oh no, I'm just saying games in general, because this man's acting like he's talking about Grand Blue like that. No.
To wrap up our poll, so we had 22% with no, and then 19% stating yes. So there is a little bit of divide, but once again, the majority goes for depends on the game. Yeah. Makes about sense. We are a community. It isn't just one game. That's the beautiful part, but it's also the complex part about our awesome community, is that it isn't just one game we can all agree on.
Just a quick thought. I think it also depends on the tournament you're running or competition you're running. Because even if you look at the Third Strike guys out in Japan, they run out these tournaments, and when they have a lot of people, they'll have like literally first to ones. Yeah, because
they got Battle Opera was like freaking first to ones, bro. You remember that shit?
First to ones. It's like 1 round or like, 2 out of 3 rounds.
I got work in the morning. Let's go.
First to ones, single limb, like GG. Like we gotta go home.
Single limb, like we close at 9. You're waiting for 2 hours. Yeah, man, that sucks.
Close at 9. Hard stop. Lights off.
All right. So with that, let's get into this topic. Like I said earlier. First of all, thanks for everyone that joined in on that poll. We'll be posting up one this week as well. So we had came across this really cool thread out on our fighters. This was posted by user my name through, that's THRU, talking about ranked matches. I think everyone here has played a little bit of ranked matches in some respective game at some point. But my name came up with an idea on just trying to get feedback on it, because everyone's got their own ideas as to how matchmaking should and shouldn't work. This one they set up saying there's in this hypothetical, there is only one matchmaking mode against other players. The season lasts X amount of time. In the matchmaking mode, you play against another player and win or lose. You can view your win-loss record and your match history, but there's no visible ranking nor points available. Sounds a lot like casual matches right now. At the end of each season, the entire ladder is published, revealing everyone's previously hidden MMR score as well as their ranking by actual placement, like your top 500 out of 20,000 or 5,000 out of 20,000 or something like that, as well as statistical distribution, aka like the top 5% or something like that, so you can see who's in the tippy top versus where you're at, right? Rinse and repeat each season. So the idea is, hey, nowadays, the typical ranked is you play on whatever game, you do some placement matches, and you get placed somewhere, right? And then you grind from there, wherever the game has deemed you at, and you know where you're going, right? In Street Fighter, you have your, is it just MR? What was it called? Is
the first? It's just
whatever the points are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the placements are whatever. I mean, afterwards,
once you get
I forget.
master.
My bad. To master, correct? Yeah. Once you get to master, right? It's a still a rank, and then just go through the MMR within master up to the top whatever percentage in which you're like legend or something like that. That's like top 500 or whatever. In other games like Strive, you got your floors, right? You can start in floor 1. I don't even know if it's a floor 0. Floor 1, go all the way to 10, and then you play enough in 10, then you then have a challenge to get yourself into Celestial, where you have to win 5 matches and you can only lose 1 max. Once you do 5, like you hit your record of 2 losses, you reset, go back to 10, and you got to do that. And then, but once you're in Celestial, you're in. Like you can't drop. But until the next month or the next reset, right? But the idea is that you still see it, right? So it's different in the case that now you don't, right? You basically are sitting down and you're kind of grinding out. So it was a really cool concept. I think I know where like most people are going, but there are some pros and cons to it, right? I think that's kind of where I want to bring up here. Like, for one, people get they get pretty anxious when it comes to rank play. Like, people get nervous.
Yeah, no, genuinely.
Which they shouldn't. Like, I want to premise this here. The show, we've made it very clear in the past. Like, ranking means nothing. Like, I just want to be very clear to everyone that's listening. Your ranking means nothing in the realm of when you're going out to these tournaments and actually playing against players that are out there really about the competition.
Ranking only means one thing. The only time it matters is within that first 2 to 3 weeks, because you're trying to be a content creator. I think outside of that, but that's realistic. Within the ranking
that's outside of the realm of competition.
You're trying to say but like if you're doing something like that, then that's reasonable. Don't discourage yourself from that. Trying to be the number 1 of something, but there are gonna be people who are just flat out better. I personally don't particularly like this hidden. I like this hidden rank thing, and I hate it at the same time. Because
I'm kind of in a mix as well.
And I'll follow up with the pros. I do think it's good and healthy when someone's not fixated on a rank, which I think that's and I think there's games that have achieved doing that without saying, hey, you can't look at your rank. I think we'll probably see that with 2XKO, where they're like, hey, I'm just playing with a buddy, so it don't even fucking matter, right? So I'm just leveling up, I'm ranking, cool.
And plus, I can blame my homie if we lose. So
exactly.
Oh my god,
can't wait.
But I think that is a pro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fostering a growth mindset is kind of like a big thing for me. Like, players are more like if you're gonna go on rank and like you don't see it, I feel like it'll instill an idea of like, okay, you're gonna want to see. Like, you're gonna want to implement what you're trying to improve on faster, because that's how you'll notice that is like whether you win or lose. Like, don't get me wrong, because ranking still has, like I said, ranking has its pros. Like, you can visibly see. Like, I can look at it and go like, I am in gold. If I make it to platinum, that is an objective way for me to see that I've improved because my record shows it, and I have a little JPEG that shows it to me. Sweet. cool.
And possibly the players become a little bit more difficult.
And you'll have an idea. Absolutely, yeah. You'll have that. I'm not denying that. I think that definitely has its place for sure. But I think sometimes you get too fixated on going for the next rank versus trying to improve yourself. Like instead of like that being the mindset, right? So I feel like if it's gone, you're not worried about that rank, that emblem, whatever. You'll get one. You'll get it at the end of the month, almost like a big cash out. But instead, you kind of will focus more on improving instead, which I think is like healthier.
I actually see it a lot with players ranked in general. They could be in like masters or diamonds, or even in a shooter, they'll be in like like close to immortal or something like that, and they'll still have these bad games because they're fixated on I like not even I didn't do this right.
I should win because
like, or they're instead of following the game plan they wanted to, they'll be like, I have to win this. And it's like, but why do you have to win this, right?
Yeah,
so I think that fixation.
You're focused on I have to win because of my rank because I don't want to lose it. Yeah. I don't want to demote.
And
right, like that just adds more pressure.
That's
at times.
And that's the reason why you see like a lot of people one and dones, or you see people quit really early. Like
it creates a toxic environment.
Yeah,
it creates a toxic environment.
It's happening in a lot of new games right now too, from like Street Fighter to even games that people didn't expect to have ranked, like Dragon Ball Sparky. People are like one and done people.
Oh yeah,
and you get up to like 4, almost like Tekken style, like 3-4 matches.
What's the phrase? How does it go? My points,
my rank,
my points.
Yeah. I
my
do
5 points.
I do think the positives are there when you take away it, but man, do I also think there's so many more negatives. That's the only problem.
Well, we're about to jump into that. I think one last positive, though, just to add to that, is things like ladder manipulation. You know that goes rampant like crazy. Like this isn't just like a fighting game thing. This is like overall, like smurfing, top 500 to want to have like 18 accounts in the top 500. And they are looking, they can see the number, so they know like, okay, I just have to get to 1675 and I can knock out this person, and now I have my 3 accounts. Yeah, right? Like
parrying or playing on someone else's account to get them to something they're not. I mean, that'll always be a thing, but like I think it's more prevalent when there is a rank in system.
So that's more prevalent. That's what I'm saying. It's a pro when it isn't in there, because how are they going to know? I mean, in the real world, is someone going to try to calculate it, get it done? Probably. But I'm saying in a perfect world where they can't, like that's one thing that it kind of affects it, that it fights against. They're I think those are kind of like the main points that I could think of. But yeah, there are cons though. There are still cons to it. For one, lack of immediate feedback. You don't know am I playing well? Am I a bronze player or am I a diamond player? I won't find out till the end of the month, which to some people, that's too long of a wait.
And that's what placements are for.
Yeah. I also don't like the idea of... So I personally don't like the idea of hiding ranked, because the concealment also means there's no urgency towards playing for something, right? Even though you're playing for something at the end of the month.
Motivation as well.
It's like you said, it's kind of like slowly around the improvement factor, but it's also like, well, if I've been doing this bad habit constantly and I think it's working because I'm seeing some matches won, some matches not, you'll never really know where you place. And even if you know in the next month, it's like, well, and this is kind of why I lead into the next thing, which is people are going to figure out the percentage of what they need to make it to a certain point for that ladder system. As much as you want to hide it, it is going to be dissolved and figured out, right? Yeah. So like the hidden factor, they did it with League of Legends when it first came out, where like they were like hiding MMR and all kinds of shit for playing against certain types of MMR ratings and who lands where. I think we're seeing that more and more with Street Fighter, where we know that platinum is kind of like the new gold, and diamond is the new platinum, and masters is the new diamond. That's just based off of the degree of how people play the game, right? So,
and also, there's a con to that when you don't see the other person's rank. I know as much as I was dogging on it, a person's rank, as it does naturally, it kind of gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. You ever see the guys, or even talk to someone when someone does something, you be like, yo, that's a gold bison doing that shit. Yeah. Nobody in platinum does that. Like a Masters player wouldn't do that, right? Like so when you take that away, you kind of have no idea, right? Like a player could be playing off the rock, you'd be like, wow, this is the most random person ever. Come to find out they're top 100.
Yeah, I'm more scared of a rookie than I am.
Like,
I'm more scared of rookie than I am like legend. Because
rookie's
dude doesn't even play. He just plays at the land center.
Sweet.
You know the saying, right? The most dangerous samurai in the world does not fear the second most dangerous. He fears the samurai that doesn't know what he's doing.
No, but I'm saying rookie as in like the dude doesn't have it because he only plays offline by himself.
Gotcha. I still feel like that was applicable.
Okay.
But,
no, it was because if you think about it, I always like to say Justin said it best when he was like, I'm more afraid of playing in that first general part of a tournament where I don't know anybody versus knowing everybody, because the moment I play somebody I don't know what they're capable of, and I don't know what they're able to do. And there is no ranking offline. So
it's like constant pools. Imagine that. Online is just constant pools.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because one of the early things that Daigo mentioned about his opponents is like he puts his opponents into different categories. Like one opponent that's more aggressive, or one opponent that will play not very aggressive that he can play against. So I don't know if that still constitutes to how he plays now, because the games have changed so much. But
yeah,
I think the assessment still falls under. So like it's what we're saying, right? Because if you see a ranked, if you're ranked diamond and someone is ranked plat and you're playing them, your assessment is, okay, there's some things that they haven't built up to that degree, but I still have to assess them during the match. I'm just going to not expect them to be able to know these things. So I might press these things a little bit more onto them. These aggressive tactics or defensive tactics that force them to learn it, but also to test whether they can or not. But I think that's what the ranking is there for, right? But I also think, flip side, the toxicity is, well, that player ain't shit because he's not even close to my rank. And then you come to find out, your mind's blown when it's someone who's smurfing, right? So,
and then you get beat, and then you're mad, and then you're like one and done. You rage quit, you DC, and you create that environment, right? It's just a vicious circle at that point.
I do like the concept. I don't know if you could do intervals of a month or 2 to 3 months.
I
think it might be a little too long.
Yeah, that's
at least for fighting
long.
games. For fighting games, I think it's a little too long. But I think if you wanted to implement something like this, the concept is right there. I think once a week, because if you look at other, like I play a lot of mobile games. Our PvP statuses don't matter until the end of the week when everything gets updated. You could see as your progression, but even if I'm not looking at that, I'm like, the end goal is the end of the week, because once I hit a certain point, I'm going to get XYZ rewards, right? So I also think that to entice this, for people to continue to play and try to improve, they give them rewards based off of their performance, right? So they're like, hey, you've hit XYZ, and they give maybe even feedback might be important, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the best game that does that is Tekken. I think even though Tekken shows you your rank, it also shows you your status of what you lean towards more and what people lean towards more. So I think you can get a better gauge if we at least left that concept. Take out the ranked, but put strong defender, counter hitter, like those things.
As accurate as that can be.
As you can, right?
Because it would have to be really good. So some sort of immediate feedback.
Yeah, which I think
is something.
And that's why I said absolutely. I think Tekken does it really well. I think implementing it with that non-ranking, like not showing the rank and doing it once a week. Oh my God, that would be so fun to play, because you're not fixated on the rank. You're fixated on like, yo, am I doing this right? You kind of maybe play a little too defensive. This person's aggressive. I might want to switch it.
And to boot, the longer it is, imagine those like end of the month like grind weeks where it's just like, oh, I gotta get my dailies in, or I have to like just crunch fucking 40 hours on the last week real fast. Those servers will get freaking tanked on so quickly. So that's another problem that could solve for that.
That his concept for a non-ranked system, there's so many things you could just throw to make a pro out of it. And I know this is like a little outlandish, but even adding something such as like someone who's really good at parrying, right? Or maybe they're not the best at parrying. It's like, hey, you parry 20% out of fireballs, right? you might want to, you know, and it'll tell you might
Go
want
back
to be
to the lab, son.
well, all right, I shouldn't say all that. But I was saying like maybe it's like, and then it shows you the percentage of like the level of players that you are around.
Average level.
Yeah. If you want to get better, you should improve on the percentage of. You know,
these are their
what you do.
stats, right?
Yeah,
This is
so
where you land on that.
I think that's more motivating. Even if you see your ranks falling into this category, you're like, oh well, I'm not just based off of this rank for my play being like good or bad. It's like I need something to improve, and then it shows you that category. It's kind of like when you see people play basketball or football, they show you those individual stats. They're like, oh, they got a triple double or double stuff like that. Now you're like, oh, where do they need to improve?
Number 5 with fries,
field goal percentage,
triple-double.
you know? Field goal percentage. Yeah. That's essentially what I'm saying.
Got you. Yeah, no, I think there definitely are its pros and cons. I think it's a cool concept, and I mean, you know, like anything in the fighting game scene, like we should. The only way we can find out if it works is if we try.
Does it?
Right? Somebody has to do it. If it ends up working good, people are gonna start adopting it. If not, people are gonna point at it and be like, "What the hell happened?" Like, you know, I thought this was you know, look at them. They tried that and it failed. But like, hey, they tried it, so you can't knock it. But I still think it's a really cool concept. Wanted to bring it up to you guys and want to ask you guys, our awesome listeners and our viewers, do you think hiding ranked? Do you think hiding ranked should be something that can be implemented in fighting games? Do you think it's more of a detriment, or do you think there are some positives that can come out of it if you do say a monthly, or even like how Meza said, a weekly?
Yeah.
Let us know.
I meant to say it, but I think he hit the sweet spot with the weekly. Just saying.
The weekly might be the
not to
most.
sow a seed of poll decision making. Okay, I'm just saying.
But yeah. So that's the question. Do you guys think hiding ranks could lead to more consistent improvement, or does it create frustration without knowing your progress in real time? Let us know what you guys think. We're going to be posting this up, of course, on our Discord, on our Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. You can comment on there. There's some awesome listeners there that they comment by the time the episode even comes up, which is appreciate y'all on that. But that is going to be it for this week, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us for another episode of Double Tap.
You forgot to mention our Instagram reels. We're back. On the ground.
Oh yeah, we are back. Well, I was about to.
He was like, "Man, that was coming."
That's in the plug segment right here, dog. Come on, man. How long have you been in this?
Man,
it's almost like you've been on this show for
you
years.
had to add like an extra word or something.
Yo, I hope you have the
extra word or something. That's why we
Gabe,
go
I hope
overtime.
you have the highest rank in MVC2 on that cap right there.
No, look. The name Mario Kid, 14-12 wins, 433 losses, and I'm on Wi-Fi. You crazy? Hell no.
Crazy.
Now you need
we're gonna close
production
out
to
this show.
extend the window to see what I was pointing at.
Appreciate y'all once again for hanging out with us. Thanks for chilling with us. Make sure to follow the show at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms, including what Static Gorilla just said. Of course, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky as well. We're all over the place. YouTube as well. Make sure to go subscribe. We post up shorts. Like I said, polls, questions. We check out all the comments that get posted up there. So feel free to subscribe. Come say what's up there. And make sure to also join our awesome Discord at doubletap.gg/Discord. Come say what's up to our awesome community there. Posting up news, articles. Of course, the question is there too. Get some discussion going on as to what we talk about this week, what Dizzy might be like, what Sakurai's got in store. We're going to be definitely talking about it there. So if you want to join, make sure to join us there, doubletap.gg/Discord. And make sure to follow my awesome host once again, Meza at Meza FGC on all social media platforms, as well as on Kick/Twitch.
Nope, not
I don't know
anymore.
which one.
I'm done with Kick, bro.
Twitch.
I'm back to Twitch.
Okay.
Like Kick is just
back to
degenerates. Kick is all degenerates.
Okay.
But
all right. Make sure to go follow him on that.
Yeah,
what do you got going on?
Basically, still streaming DFO. We're having the championships come up for $1,000, so definitely tune in for that when it comes up. And of course, I'm doing Dragon Ball streams too. So, you know, we're obviously waiting for Guilty Gear, but doing Dragon Ball streams, running tournaments for that too.
There you go. Peep it out. And make sure to go follow Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms, as well as on Twitch, where he is streaming. He got his win on TNS. If you saw him on TNS, he bodied a fool. Woo! Yeah! Let's go. Let's go.
Poor Kenny Bo. That's all right. Kenny Bo's a good player. What do you mean?
He dropped the combo,
No,
dog.
you
He dropped
bodied
the
him.
She-Hulk
Whatever.
combo.
T-Hulk
No, he dropped the
combo.
She-Hulk combo at the end.
That's called getting bodied.
No. Y'all
by the
missed
character
second,
select screen.
Y'all missed
yes.
the second match, but okay. Got destroyed by Living Legend. Also, Proxy lost $1 because he bet on me. So Proxy was the commentary. Go watch it. TNS. That's my little plug for Tampa Never Sleeps. The top. Nope, that's just pools, and then top 8 dropped today. Anyway, for me, I'm gonna try to find a spooky game to play. I don't know about which spooky game to play. So if you have any
Resident Evil 4
suggestions-
randomizer, go.
Scary, because I don't know. but I need to restart Resident Evil 4 on hard mode because I'm out of bullets, and I've upgraded the wrong pistols because that hut is not going to destroy itself. Beyond that, Marvel on Fridays, you know the deal. And if I'm bored, you'll see me playing Roller Coaster Tycoon like I did last night.
If you get Resident Evil 6, I'll get Resident Evil 6 and we'll tag
6? Hell no. All the hell no. I would get a remake of 6 before
Right,
I ever play
5.
6 again.
At least
5
5.
isn't bad.
Okay, we
5
can do
is
5.
bad.
Come on, help, Leo. That's all right.
You guys can follow me at CrashTag VS. I'm usually behind the double tap social media plugs and all, but you guys can check me out there as well. Hit us up. Once again, you can DM us, hit us up with any articles, things you want us to check out. We are taking submissions for community segments, questions, or topics you want to talk about on the show. Make sure to hit us up on all socials, of course, at doubletap@mash.gg. Email us there.
In her defense, that was not a dig on Sheva. I think Sheva's one of the underrated characters that needs to come back to Resident Evil.
Thank you.
And that's your Resident Evil tip for the day. And of course, in the Resident Evil podcast, that's it for Double Tap, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be live for another episode next week. But until then, peace.